Alright, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, the Brothers Neild here to review a Manchester United game for the first time in this new format, and my God, it feels good. It really does. I mean, we were talking about how we might, put the game off, put the review off a bit if the game didn't go the way we wanted it to, but it couldn't have gone more well according to plan. Everything was fantastic, and I'm full of it today. What about you, Matt?
Great result. Any 3-point result against Liverpool is going to go down in my books as a good day. So, hopefully we can crack on from here.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to really recover well from the disappointment against Swansea. Came back with a bit more purpose. I mean, still a bit, we have some issues. We're not a perfect team. We'll get into that more when we go through the video a bit. But I'm thoroughly satisfied with the day's work and with the season so far. 5 games in, I said 5 games was an important benchmark. It's early days, but 10 points from 5 games, I'd have taken that at the start of the season, so I am quite happy with that. Just sort of making our way through the main points, of course, top story being Manchester United have beaten Liverpool in the Premier League for the 3rd consecutive time. Louis van Gaal had his tongue in his cheek in the post-match presser, of course, because he seemed to say that Liverpool are like and this is a quote here, he said Liverpool are a ghost team to him because they never seem to give him as many problems as teams like, and this is another quote, Swansea City. So there you go, Liverpool fans. Congratulations, you have just been demoted below Swansea City. How does it feel? But, based on the performance that Liverpool put in today, they were absolutely god-awful. That is possibly the least inspiring starting lineup I've ever seen Liverpool field at Old Trafford. And that's saying something, because they've had some pretty shocking players over the years. And, I mean, they started with Danny Ings. How is Danny Ings your second choice behind Philip Coutinho? Like, I'm going to let you take over here. Cause
the big thing for them, I think, was the midfield game. We absolutely dominated the midfield. I mean, 65% possession for pretty much the entire game. I mean, Liverpool couldn't get forward because they couldn't get a foot on the ball. And as much as I would like to, as much as I would love to attribute that to United just playing outstanding in the midfield today, that's not the case. It wasn't a case of us being that much better than them, more of a case of them being just that much worse than us. And Brendan Rodgers has got some serious issues he's got to attend to. Because since Stevie G left, they've had absolutely no creativity coming out of that midfield. And Emre Can had a couple good moments today. He looked like he could not be really. He looked like he showed a couple glimpses where he could maybe, possibly be that midfield creative passer that they need. But then, of course, he would do something great and then follow that up 20 seconds later by doing something completely stupid.
I appreciate your point of view. I don't think there is a single player on the Liverpool side today that performed anywhere near passable, not even close to good. No. Benteke's goal was fantastic. He had
a couple moments. And that was about it.
Honestly, Matt, even then, I couldn't even tell you that Emre Can was on the pitch today. I couldn't, that midfield three. I think BBC Sports said it best before the game even kicked off. They said, if you're fielding, Brendan Rodgers, if you're fielding 3 midfielders up against Schweinsteiger, Carrick and Herrera, you're going to pick Lucas Leiva, Emre Can and James Milner. Those are your 3 midfielders. From kickoff, I was confident. I was confident today, and it all went. It all went according to plan. Just to sort of move things along here, or very much basking in the fact that Liverpool were god awful and that we got the 3 points. But just to kind of move it forward through the game here, I watched the match full 90 minutes. I had the afternoon off. I know you didn't have that luxury, but the first half of this game was perhaps the worst first half of football I've ever watched in my life, and I've watched some dire 45-minute periods in my life. It was uninventive, it was pedestrian. I had 2 of my friends who aren't huge football fans watching it with me, and I had to apologise to them at half-time and promise them that the Premier League usually has a higher quality than that.
Abysmal. I mean, as you said, I could watch the game. I managed to listen to a good 3/4 of it while I was at work on TalkSport, and even just listening to it, I was bored to tears.
Yeah.
I don't think the commentators said anything of substance between them within the first 45. I mean, they spent most of the first 45 minutes talking about backstories of things that have happened in the week. interesting one. I don't know if you heard about the Joe Gomez one. He tweeted something midweek congratulating Rooney for breaking England's all-time goal-scoring record, and then was forced by the club to take it down within 24 hours because the Liverpool fans were not happy that he tweeted in support of a Manchester United player.
Nice.
You know, a couple of days before a game. I mean, I thought that was a bit of a... I heard that was just like, really, like, he's an England player coming from another player.
I think that is just...
And that was the most interesting thing that I learned in the first 45 minutes of the game, was the fact that Joe Gomez had tweeted something last week.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't sum up to you how bad the first 45 minutes was, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I mean, the first half was completely flat. I mean, from you know, all standpoints, really, you know. We were good in possession. We were comfortable in possession. You know, David De Gea could have sat down and read a book. I mean, he had nothing to do.
I don't think he made his first save. 65 minutes into the game,
something like that. Liverpool. There were no shots on goal from either side in the first half. Just to be fair, you know, we didn't have a shot on goal either.
Right.
But in the second half, I think we really showed that character and composure, which I was worried about, honestly, a fortnight ago when we got beat by Swansea. I thought, you know, we conceded 2 goals in 5 minutes against Swansea. That's nothing new. That happens in the Premier League. No. But what would have happened under Sir Alex Ferguson is we would have kicked on and we would have won that game 3-2, and we would have shown some fighting spirit, and we didn't do it against Swansea. No, so I was very, very satisfied to see the boys come out, stay calm. I mean, that is a big part of it. I don't think we stayed calm against Newcastle when it was 0-0, because the longer it went on at 0-0, you could feel the pressure rising, and eventually we bottled it and ended up at 0-0, and honestly could have lost it 1-0 at the end there. I think today was a great performance at home against a side who wasn't playing very well, who was trying to defend compactly, and we managed to pick them out. Managed to pick them apart, rather. And I think getting on to the first goal here, a set-piece routine, that's what you need to unlock a game. Ultimately, the first goal, and I think everyone is agreed on this, the first goal is what changes the game. You know, the first goal is what made the second half good compared to the first half. We unlocked them with a good bit of play. You know, Ashley Young, who I was a bit sceptical of him coming on for Memphis Depay, I don't know about you, but I was sceptical of that. He completely skinned Nathaniel Klein, who then got booked for a silly challenge to give us the free kick. We worked the free kick beautifully, and what a finish by Daley Blind. And just before I pass this over to you for your opinion, I just have to say, Daley Blind has responded to critics better than anybody I can imagine in a Manchester United shirt. Chris Smalling, we were talking about how he's stepped up to the plate over the last, 12 months or so and really upped his performances since getting sent off at Man City last season. Daley Blind is someone who, before he even kicked a football at centre-half this season, was being criticised by everyone and their mum had an opinion about how he wasn't a centre-half and we should be starting Rojo. He's keeping Rojo out of the team now. You know, Daley Blind scores a cracking goal, and he was absolutely, completely well worth it. What would you say about all that?
I mean, Daley's been, for my money, he's been the best buy Louis van Gaal's made so far at United. I mean, we paid 15 million for him a season ago.
Not even.
And he was one of our he might not be one of our better players last year, but he was definitely solid. And we've stuck him. I mean, considering this is a guy that we put at left back, centre back, right back, holding midfield, central midfield, left midfield. We've played him pretty much everywhere a left-footed player can play. It's great that he's done so well at centre back. I think him and Jones have developed one hell of a partnership.
You mean Smalling?
Smalling, yes, sorry. Smalling, not Jones. Smalling, not Jones. Have developed one hell of a partnership. And I think he is helped along by the fact that the first time he ever played as a centre-half was under Louis van Gaal for the Dutch national team. Right. So he has a little bit of confidence. This is a manager that he's played with before, who's, he knows what he wants from a player in that role. And one of the things I love about him is the fact that his distribution from the back. He can pick up a back pass and then lob it 40 yards upfield to Depay, Mata, Schweizer, whoever's available, because he's got that midfield passing accuracy, but he's doing it from the back, and it just gives us another playmaking option from further behind.
Completely agree with everything you just said there. I mean, I think the real cornerstone of that Blind-Smalling partnership is the fact that they're two completely different types of player. And there was a moment in the first half, one of the only moments where Benteke got any service, where he actually got in behind for a second and you thought, oh, hang on a minute, Liverpool might have a chance here.
Right.
And, you know, in a game of such fine margins in the first half, those are big moments, and Daley Blind dealt with him with so much composure, and the one moment that Smalling really let him get away from him, because Smalling had him in his back pocket for most of the game, except obviously, you know, a couple of moments, the goal being one of them. And I just think Blind and Smalling are very good together because they offer two completely different options. They're one's right, one's left-footed, and they've just got everything on lock there. And as you were saying about how he's been played literally in every other position, I think his versatility is part of the reason why Louis van Gaal bought him. Because if you think about it, if he wasn't able to play at centre-back, you know, as well as he has been playing there, he wouldn't be in the team. Luke Shaw would keep him out of left-back. You know, everyone from Schneiderlin to Schweinsteiger to Carrick would keep him out of central midfield, and he'd have been frozen out. But much like Fellaini now adapting to a new role as a striker, because the position he used to play in has now been taken up, and Herrera now playing as a number 10 as opposed to playing in that holding spot. He's found a way to adapt and keep himself in the starting 11, and, you know, full marks to him for doing that. Moving on from there, I would just say, you know, we showed a lot of character and composure, and Louis van Gaal made a very good point in his post-match conference when he said that first goal, you know, it was well worked, and it really, you know, it blew it open, really, and it made Liverpool, you know, it forced them to kind of stretch themselves a little bit and open up the space for us, and as soon as that happened, you just had a feeling that we had the game in hand. We had some good link-up play in midfield. I mean, you were talking about Daley Blind being potentially Louis van Gaal's best buy. I think, but come the end of the season, Bastian Schweinsteiger will be far and away the best buy of Louis van Gaal's tenure, because looking at the way he's playing now, you know, at the start of his career here, you know, in the last, you know, 3 or 4 games, he's sort of been playing 45 minutes here and there, playing an hour. He's played 90 minutes today. I believe he played 90 minutes against Swansea. He is now coming into that full fitness, and if we can keep him fit and injury-free, him and Carrick today, I mean, the veteran midfield that they've got going on there, it just gives us so much more confidence and such a solid basis for going forward. And, you know, if we have a solid defence and we have those two solid veteran central midfielders sitting in front of them with David De Gea in the sticks, we're going to be a tough team to break down, even, you know, no matter who comes calling. And, you know, I thought Ander Herrera, once again, you know, he's sort of making sure no one forgets he's around, you know, with all the star power around him. You know, if he's got Schweinsteiger behind him, you know, with Memphis Depay on one side, you know, he's got a lot of, you know, shoes to fill. And he went and he made the darting run. He won the penalty. It was a clumsy challenge. You know, I think Joe Gomez is really starting to show his inexperience, which is fair to him. I mean, the young lad, he's played 1 season of professional football before this, and that was for Charlton in the Championship, and now he's starting for Liverpool. I think, you know, Liverpool fans, another thing that they have to be worried about is that Joe Gomez is their best left-back. I mean, is Alberto Moreno dead? I mean, I know he came on, but I mean, like, what? Didn't you sign him for 20 million last season to be your left-back, and now you've signed this nobody from Charlton who's keeping out the team? I mean, that's just my opinion. That's all I'm saying is we got Luke Shaw, who's, you know, looking like a really promising young English left back. They've got Joe Gomez, also looks like a promising young English left back. But is he good enough? You know, that's the thing. You know, I mentioned earlier they started Danny Ings. I mean, that speaks for itself. They started, you know, Lucas Leiva. I mean, they lack a lot of depth, Liverpool, and they really do have what seems like a very limited team selection. But moving on, you know, Herrera took his penalty very well. You know, he won the penalty, took the penalty brilliantly, smashed it home. And let's just, you know, can we just, you know, dismiss the elephant in the room here? Christian Benteke, that goal was absolutely top class. Now, I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking that away from him, because that goal literally made me gasp. It made me gasp. I'm sitting here watching the game, sitting back thinking, okay, last 10 minutes, we're seeing the game out comfortably. Liverpool are absolutely toothless, and he pulls that out. And for a minute, I just thought, okay, it looked like Wayne Rooney, you know, his goal at that same end for United a few years ago. And he hit it harder, if anything.
He hit it harder, yeah.
Fantastic finish. But I go back to the character and composure. Anthony Martial, just when Christian Benteke is sitting there thinking, I've just scored one of the goals of the season, we're back in the game, come on lads, let's go. Before Liverpool even get the ball back, the ball goes out to Anthony Martial, and he makes Martin Skrtel
look like an absolute idiot.
He makes Martin Skirtle look like a fool here. It was reminiscent, they've been calling him the new Thierry Henry. That was a Thierry Henry.
As Thierry Henry is just going to get.
It took Thierry Henry 7 games to score for Arsenal. It's taken Anthony Martial 20 minutes to score for Man United. I'm not going to jump on any bandwagons here. I still say, let's wait and see. Let's let it pan out. Lots of players have started well. Kiko Makeda, anybody? He scored an insane goal. Very similar goal, to be fair.
Danny Welbeck in his debut.
Yeah, well, Danny
Coming off the bench against Villa.
I still defend Danny Welbeck to this day. I think he was a solid player. Maybe not quite Man United caliber, but I never had a problem with him. But that goal from Martial just completely wrapped it up. Came right at the correct time, and I think it really was an emphatic way of us saying, "Oh, you think you're going to get back in the game? Doubt it." Doubt it, and I thoroughly impressed with Martial. What do you think of the young lad, Matt?
Well, I mean, if he can do that week in and week out, I think we may have underpaid for him at 36 million.
Well, I mean,
but again,
week in, week out's a big thing to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if he gets us 10 goals this season, I would consider that a successful start for his team.
If he can net 10, hopefully playing behind Wayne Rooney for most of the season as his deputy, then yeah, I think if he breaks double digits, that would be great for him in his first season. But based on what I saw from him, the talent is there. The talent is there, but we've seen it before with young lads who've got all the talent in the world, but they don't have their heads screwed on right, and it costs them down the line. And I really am hoping that he is not one of those players that, scoring in his debut for Manchester United might go to his head just a little bit. But based on what we saw from him, he's got the talent, he's got the composure, and he seemed to the way he took to the field, it was like he'd been there for years. He just seemed so comfortable and so at home with the guys and with the atmosphere and playing in that red shirt. I mean, and we've seen guys come in, put on that Red Devils shirt, and it overwhelms them a little bit.
Weighs them down.
Yeah, it weighs them down and it overwhelms them. But he seemed to put that shirt on and took it in his stride. It looked like he'd been there, as I said, it looked like he'd been there for years. And, I mean, hats off to him. That goal was absolutely sublime.
Unbelievable.
Sublime. I mean, he made 3 of the Liverpool back four look like they should be playing Sunday League football, not Premier League football. And then the curve around the goalkeeper, I mean, there was absolutely nothing Mignolet could have done about that. And I just hope he just takes this and runs with it. Take this confidence that you've got and just run with it. Score as many, just forget about all the naysayers and, they overpaid for him and they're never going to get that kind of money back from him. Just forget it. Just take it in your stride and just do what you apparently do best, and that's score goals.
He seems like a well-grounded, humble lad who wants to play his football and wants to improve and become the best he can be. And, I think the way, like you said, the composure, the calmness and the pride he showed when he came on with that United shirt on, and the way he just he thrived on it. That's the kind of mentality you have to be a top footballer.
It's what we would call what makes you a Manchester United player. You can be a great player and not be a Manchester United player. Angel Di Maria. But there are other guys who people look at them and just say, they're never going to amount to anything, but they are United caliber, and once they prove that they are United caliber, it's not short after that people start recognising them as world class caliber, as they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of wrapping up here, my man of the match. Personally, I know you didn't watch it, but my man of the match was Daley Blind 100%, because one thing that we have kind of glossed over, I mean, we've mentioned the goal, we tore that to pieces, great goal. But the moment I think that was even more important, or at least was on a level with how important the goal was when it was 1-0, Liverpool did have a period where they suddenly started wanting to play football. And they had a corner come in. Skirtle doesn't know a lot about it, but he gets his head on the ball, and it takes a deflection. It's going wide from Skirtle's header, and it takes a huge ricochet. It might have been off Matteo Darmian, it was off some cluster of players, and Daley Blind gets his head to the ball to clear it off the line. Not to mention that it then drops to the feet of Roberto Firmino, who scuffs his shot at goal going in, and Daley Blind once again gets his foot to it and puts it wide, keeps it at 1-0. We go on to take a 2-goal advantage, and even after Benteke scored, didn't have time for us to feel nervous because Martial put our fears to bed very easily. But yeah, I would say that would be sort of it for this one. Moving on to the Champions League game next week, do you reckon that Martial starts, or do you think Fellaini starts?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Martial seemed to show me more in the 20 minutes he was on the field than I got shown from Mauro and Fellaini in the moments prior to that. I mean, and that's not to say that Fellaini necessarily had a bad game, which wasn't necessarily a good game. He was average. He was a big man up front.
He did a job.
Yeah, he did a job. He was the big man up front. He managed
no service. Absolutely
no service. But when he did reasonably well. Getting onto it, control. Bringing it down to at least open up the idea that we could, play on from there. Unfortunately, it didn't quite happen for him. There were a couple where he had a chance early on at a goal, and his touch the ball just got a little bit away from him. And I think that's more of a lack of game time than it is a lack of talent.
Definitely.
So, maybe he starts on Tuesday. Personally, having seen, I would give Martial the start. I mean, worst case scenario, you can stick Fellaini on at half time.
Yeah, the way I see it, to be honest, is the reason that Martial didn't start, one is because he was signed right before the international break. He's only trained with the team for 3-4 days. The fact that he came on and played and scored is brilliant, but he wasn't, expected to do anything in that sense. But one of the ultimate things that Martial lacks in Van Gaal's eyes to stop him from starting is Premier League experience. He does not lack for Champions League experience. In my mind, and probably factually, he has more Champions League experience than Mauro and Fellaini, who has played at the Champions League for one season, and that was a season that the less said about the better. Yeah. So I would say that I think Anthony Martial definitely should start against PSV along with Memphis, who I think will be well up for it in Europe. And but yeah, I'd say we'd wrap it up from there. Thoroughly good day today from the fact that we got a fantastic result. We finally started scoring some goals, for Christ's sake. And, hopefully onwards and upwards from here. If we can get a good result in the Champions League on Tuesday, kick on to Southampton next week, and maybe we can really start putting some pressure on City. Because if we don't do it, who else is? I mean, at this point. So, any final thoughts for you, Matt? Who's your man of the match?
I'd have to agree with you and give it to Daley. I mean, he was an absolute monument at the back today. And as I said earlier, his distribution from the back is just absolutely sublime. I mean, he's picking out 40, 50-yard passes from well inside his own half, and that just gives us a great option. And I think he really, it's not a position he's before now been used to playing. He's done it when he's had to, but it's not been his regular position. But he's really come in and made it his own. He has decided if this is where I need to play my football, then goddamn it, I'm going to play the best football I can. Absolutely. And it's an inspiration to see, because there are so many guys who complain about being played out of position, and they don't put the effort in because they're not playing where they want to. Daley's just happy to be on the field and kicking the ball for Man United, and utmost respect for him for that, and I'm giving him the nod for my man of the match today.
Okay, well, with that being said, until Tuesday, we'll be back with another MU review, hopefully reviewing another positive result in Eindhoven. I cannot wait to get back under the Champions League lights. It's going to be brilliant. But yeah, I've been Liam, and Matt, great job once again, joining me, giving me someone to sound my ideas off of. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right.
That'll be that.